Now you're looking at the Myford Super 7 headstock again. One of my three with the old Euler design. I'm about to measure the spindle alignment, meaning, and also align it, meaning the alignment in this direction, or actually up and down and back and forth. It should be dead ahead plus 1/100th of a millimeter at the end of the test bar pointing upwards, and 1/100th of a millimeter at the end of the test bar pointing towards the operator. That is to compensate for tool pressure also, or against the tool pressure. So at least according to the specs, should be that way. It is probably stiff enough to hold like that, but I want to also to insert the bearings, so I have some alignment at the rear here. The headstock is then at the moment loose, so I snug it down. Not a lot of force, but just snug. And then these are also loose, the screws that pushes the headstock to the rear against the rear of the bed. These are the alignment screws that align the headstock this way or this way. So I insert the spindle. First of all, I insert the bearings. I've learned that the best way to do this is with the spindle actually. I can try to just get them sort of aligned first, and then use the spindle to insert them properly. So I have the distance piece here, goes on there. I just use the bearing onto that, and then I have the spacer, not necessarily aligned so to the feeder, to the oil feeder here, but so sort of just to have it like it should be. So I just can push the bearing ahead, insert the spacer, and then the next bearing like that, and enough this way so that I seat the bearing properly, seat the spindle properly. And then I want to also insert the nuts. The other one. So I get some pressure on the bearings. We'll see when we insert the spindle how far we should go backwards. Okay, a little bit more. Okay, so it doesn't interfere. Yes, there we have a little bit space, a little bit slope there. I'm after just the alignment, of course, up and down. Then I use the distance piece in this case for the inner the inner ring, and then just snug this down. Now it should be seated firmly. Then I have my test bar, which I insert and give it a tap so it sits. And to be able to adjust, I've made this setup with 2 indicators. So one that measures the in and out here, and one that measures up and down. It's important to have it aligned at the top. So before you start, you have to find the top, so it measures correctly along the top and along the rear or front. And ideally now it shall be 0 here and plus 1 that way, and also plus the 1 that way. What you will see is that I can adjust the rear here to be correct. And the way to do that is with, of course, the screws from here. So to loosen that, or to snug them down first, and then to loosen and tighten here. That is the way. We can give it a try now. And I just run this. Yeah. Run this to the end here. And I zero my indicators. There. And there. And then I give it a test run. And I see that the top moves far ahead. It's at 6 hundredths of a millimeter high, which is way too high. And this is at 3. So what I can do now is I can adjust the 2 screws here, and I will adjust this. I've snugged the rear one up, and then I can also tighten this, and you can see the the needle on the indicator there. Now it's quite snug, so I will loosen the rear one a little bit and tighten the front one. Okay, we'll try again. I'll give it a new 0 there, and give it one more try. So I see I have plus 1.5, so a little bit too much. One more. Okay. And we are there. We are at 1/100th of a millimeter that way. This one needs to be adjusted now in another way. Assuming I have tightened this down, which I am pretty certain I have. Otherwise I might have a false reading, but I'm positive I have tightened them down. This means that, this was not really tight, but this means that I have a little bit too much uplift, and I will have to scrape down the headstock in front so that it moves down. Yeah, could be that they put it in, but I don't think they put in that much tolerance that way. But anyway, that's how you do it. Of course, it needs to be that way first now, and then I have to loosen and take out everything off again. So this movement will also, or this alignment will also, have to be done, be measured and done again. But that's okay. at least this gives you an idea what it's all about to adjust this. Now it's been like 10 cycles of scraping, or maybe 12, to get the front here down. It's loose but tucked firmly that way, which is where it's supposed to be. That's just the gadget I use to hold the headstock while scraping. Spindle is again firmly seated. And then zero the indicators. And now we'll, okay, a little bit. Like that. And then we'll move it. Now this moved +1. Yeah. And this moved also +1. So we are within specs. And the way I did this was to scrape down the headstock the underside of the headstock. I have to say that's not the precise contact I want now, so I will work more on the contact, but now it's with the step scraping I did, step scraping it here in comparison with the rear and relieving it in the center, it's coming into alignment. So now just to get the static 5 points per inch fit. Okay, great. One more. One down. 6 more to go.